Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I want to share with you what are some differences between junior and senior UX designers. So this is a question I've been hearing a lot. On one hand, how can I grow from a junior designer to mid or senior level? On the other hand, how hiring managers or companies evaluate you at interviews based on your experience. So I think this is something actually more than just the job title or number of years of experience. But actually how you think and how you work. So in today's video, I will share with you some core difference between junior and senior designers and hope this will be something helpful for you to grow into your next stage in the UX career. So before I jump in, just a quick reminder, I share everything about UX from interview tips, portfolio reviews, design crates on my YouTube channel. So if you're interested on this type of content, please feel free to hit the subscribe so you won't miss any of my future content. Okay, so the first difference is junior designer tends to focus more on what rather than why. I think it's a common pattern that from an interviewer's perspective, when evaluating designer's portfolio, junior designer tends to focus more on process, talk about what is the product I worked on, what I have done, from research, testing, and then prototype. You will see that the portfolio or the project case study usually focus more on the deliverables, like what I have produced. On the other hand, if you look at a senior designer's portfolio, it actually focuses more on the value, focus on the why instead of what. For example, if I'm working on this product that is like a parental control mobile app, instead of focus more on like this is the screen that I produce or the final hi-fi resolution, it tells actually more about the design rationales behind. For example, this is the before, this is the after, and highlighting on what I have changed and why. And also, if you're talking about research, it's really not quite necessary, at least from my opinion, to talk through, okay, what are questions you have asked the interviewee or what are the very detailed like research plan. However, what is more critical from an interviewer perspective, if you're hiring for a UX designer's position, is to really understand how you work together with the researcher, how you make critical decisions to help the team understand what are the next steps they should focus on based on the learning from a research study. So beyond the artifacts, I want to encourage you to think more about why. If you are showing anything, what's the point? What is the takeaway you want to leave the audience, why you made certain decisions, and how you went to the decision. So focus more on the why and the value. So my second point is strategic thinking. So this is something I have observed in everyday work. Junior designers tends to focus on, okay, what's on my plate? What do I need to accomplish this week or this month? On the other hand, senior designer often required to think beyond the near term to understand what is the vision, what should the team focus on beyond the near term roadmap ideas. And I see that quite often happen in the real world, like working environment. Junior designer tends to be very heavily impacted or driven by PM and especially PM requirement. For example, we need to get this feature done, built in the next 2-3 months. And junior designers often focus on the immediate requirement or projects. To become a senior designer, I think it's a critical thing to shift your mindset instead of focus on what do I need to finish this week or this month. Try to think more beyond. For example, if you're working on the smart parental control, like redesign of the existing app, maybe beyond the immediate version, the improvement, try to think a bit more about what is the North Star experience might look like for parents or families. What might be the blue sky or future features you think the team should focus on that leadership should start investing from today. Long story short, a critical difference between junior designer and senior designer is the way how you think. And to become a senior designer, I would want to encourage you to think more about vision, strategy? What are something that will help the team or the company to be in a really successful position in the next 3 to 5 years? That might means you need to understand the marketplace. You need to understand what are the major players in the industry. What are things that you think are critical, not like immediate project needs, but what might be some key value your company or your team should start thinking about or investing in today. So another point I think is to become the expert of your domain area. So this is talking about really going deep in the vertical areas that you are an expert, or you become like the go-to person that others can rely on. For example, I'm working on like the onboarding flow for this new parental control software. Once this flow is ready, I'm just gonna put a check mark and I'm done. This is like a typical mindset. It's very easily to fall into in everyday work. But if you want to go beyond and grow to the next level, it's really critical to become a domain expert, which means no matter what product or what kind of company you're working at, the areas that you are currently working on, try to build up your knowledge and really grow in deep in that area. So for example, you're working on this smart parental control software, don't only focus on the immediate outcome or next version of this app, but understand what is the landscape for kids and family experience overall. Who are the major players? How does their product work today? What are some unique values you can bring to the key stakeholders in this ecosystem? For example, the kid users, the parents, and also perhaps thinking about a co-viewing experience. A practical way to do that is to really zoom out. Forget about the product or the immediate product outcome, but think about the product area or the industry holistically, and understand what might be the pain point of each stakeholders involved to understand, okay, what might be some future opportunities, and build up your knowledge in your domain area. What's the value of becoming a domain expert? That will help you become a really valuable team member, not only within your design team. For example, your PM, Eng partners, or the leadership try to understand or develop like the overall strategy for the company. You become that go-to person. Okay, let's talk to him or talk to her to understand where we are, what's like the top pain points of our users, what might be some constraints, what are some industry knowledge, anything related to the area or the domain, the vertical that you are working on. You want to become that expert, that go-to person, so that your value will go way beyond producing screens workflows. So the last point I have is empower others. And in another word, what is your horizontal impact? So this is something a lot of the time for junior designers, even when the opportunity shows up, you might think, oh, it's secondary because it's not really in my core work scope or responsibility. So when somebody asks you, okay, could you help, for example, build up the design system, or how can we make our product more accessible, like something not really in your core responsibilities, a lot of times junior designers will see, if I have the bandwidth, I might help. If not, this is more of an optional or secondary opportunity. However, what I want to share with you is most of the case, when a junior designer grow to the next level, mid-level or senior designer, it never happened only because of you're doing well in your current job. From the leadership's angle, you're just doing a really good job. That's it. They might give you some rewards, but that's never the case enough to put into the next level's position. So how to get to the next level? Most of the case, you have to show or demonstrate that you're already thinking and functioning in the next level. So horizontal impact is a critical part because you want to show your value beyond your immediate job scope. So when opportunities comes up, if you're working like in a startup companies, a lot of the case, company might not have a very mature design system. This might become an opportunity for you to help the team establish that. So at the beginning, it might feel like, okay, how can I do that as a one person with the job I already have on my plate? But if you think about the other way, this is actually an opportunity for you to step up. As you develop the plan and share with the leadership what's the value and potential impact or benefit for the company, you might actually end up in a position that you can hire more designers to have a team to work on this. So horizontal impact is something beyond your original job scope. It's basically talking about how can your work help other team members or create value for the broader team or company. So if you are a junior designer, I want to encourage you to be sensitive about those opportunities evolving around you. Try to shift your mindset. Instead of seeing those are burdens or extra work, try to understand, okay, why this is something that my manager or my leadership is asking for, how important it is to the company, why they care about it, what might be the potential value I can actually bring to the broader team. So that's the last point I have. Think about horizontal impact and how you can empower and support others beyond your own work. Okay, so that's all we have for today. We talked about some tangible differences between junior designer and senior designer. So hope this is something helpful for you as you develop and grow in your career. And if you have any questions, please feel free to leave me comments and I will see you next time. Thanks. Bye.